Hello, and welcome to the Taxpayer Show. People call me Shaner. This is a new podcast. I've tried different podcasts in the past and never really went anywhere. Long story short, I'm not really good at this. Probably get nowhere. I do better talking with another person, so I'd love to have some guests at some point. I've tried to line that up, never went anywhere. I would love a co-host. Anyways, this is a show about things that matter to me, that deal with government and local government, federal, whatever. All the different things that are important to us, the taxpayers. So, first of all, just take a minute here, since it's been a long, brutal winter for all of us. Doesn't this look beautiful? When you like to sit there and have a coffee or a pint or a wine or anything. Just sit there by the fire and enjoy that, and roasted marshmallow or a weenie. Soon, folks. Soon. And if anybody catches me complaining about the bugs, you're welcome to slap me upside the head. Before I get any further, swig of beer for the working man, women, and whatever you call yourselves out there. Thank you for keeping the gears going on this great country of ours. Oh, better take a sip. I'll be honest, this is like the third time I've tried to do this show within the last 24 hours. I'm not always drinking. I did this twice with coffee, but, well, I had enough coffee. It's time for a pint. And we'll get into the first story here in just a sec. So by the time this gets posted, this has already been around the world. MP Matt Genereux, who's a PC MP, just crossed the floor. I guess that's yesterday now. I was trying to do this for last night. Crossed the floor to the Kearney Liberals. His riding has never voted for Liberals in its entire existence, and I saw the proof of that on Jasmine Lane's show earlier today. Never been Liberal in there. Here's an idea for Matt. Resign, run for re-election, and see if your Alberta riding would ever vote for a Liberal MP. So, I'm going to show, I think it's the CTV news clip about it. And, you know what, Kearney keeps plucking the PC MPs, and he's doing dirty tricks to slowly try to get a majority government. Anyways, these backroom deals, I tell you, let you know who people really are. Now, this guy, Matt Genereux, I think he was elected 6 times as a PC MP, and he was elected like almost, under a year ago, the last election, and then he announced in November that he was going to step down. And he really has had nothing to do with the party, and he decided that he was going to step down for family reasons. He wanted to spend more time with his family. He's done nothing with the party, and then all of a sudden he gets offered this big job with the Liberals, and he takes it. Well, anyways, before I get into the CTV article, I just want to say, I think if you're going to cross the floor, you should just step down or sit as an independent or something. But honestly, I don't think there should be any floor crossing. If you're elected by your constituents to represent your constituents for a certain party, if you're not able to do that, you should step down, and there should be a by-election. And that goes for all parties. I don't care whose side. I don't even care if a Liberal crossed the aisle and went to the PCs. I wouldn't trust them to save my life. Anyways, let's put this on pause here for a quick second and bring up the CTV article. So hopefully, unlike the last two recordings, I don't have sound issues, and this works right.
Now with me now for more reaction is Larissa Waller, Conservative strategist and former Executive Director of Communications for Premier Doug Ford. Larissa, first of all, let me get your reaction to this. It's the third Conservative MP to cross the floor in the last several months, and I think in particular this one is interesting because back in the fall, Matt Jenner said he was stepping away from politics. He was going to resign his seat, and now he's a member of the Liberals.
Well, he was going to resign his seat and spend more time with family because he had, family, pressures or whatnot, and I guess those went away. As they tend to do when it's politically expedient for somebody. I think Matt Jenner fancies himself the savior of Alberta, which is interesting. Listen, he ran as a Conservative a year ago. So did the others who crossed the floor. They ran as Conservatives a year ago. In Matt Jenner's case, he's been elected as a Conservative 6 times. So when did his feelings change, right? And he cites the Prime Minister's Davos speech as the big moment that, the lights went on and he became a Mark Carney Liberal. The Prime Minister gave a good speech in Davos. Pierre Poilievre even said so. There's very little daylight between the Conservative position on foreign policy and the Liberal position on foreign policy. And it was a good speech, but it was a speech. And I think Matt Jenner, looking the constituents of his very Conservative riding in Alberta in the eye, when he starts knocking on doors, he's going to get a bit of a wake-up call that these people didn't vote for a good speech in Davos. They voted for a Conservative member of Parliament to represent their Conservative values, and that's not what they're getting.
Does this change to, Pierre Poilievre just got, overwhelming support at his leadership review at the Conservative convention, too, that happened just a couple of weeks ago, from delegates in particular, but with a third member now leaving caucus. Does this change your, do you think, Conservative views about keeping him on as leader at this point?
I don't think it does. I think the mandate he received from Conservatives, he got, upwards of 87% support at the mandatory leadership review that Conservatives always say that leaders have to go through after an election. The Conservative caucus is united. Matt Jenner, remember, left the Conservative caucus in the fall. So it's not news that he left the Conservative caucus. It's news that he's flip-flopping on his plan to quit. So first he was a Conservative, then he wasn't a Conservative, then he was in the Conservative caucus, then he left the Conservative caucus because he was going to quit being a politician and going to spend time with family. Now he's back being a politician, but now this time he's a Liberal. Explain that on the doorstep of somebody who is struggling to pay the rent or somebody who can't afford their groceries.
Exactly.
And the reason he's doing this is because Mark Carney gave a good speech in Davos. Mm-hmm. If we look at that reality, it's peculiar that some...
I gotta stop it for a second. Am I the only one that's not impressed with that speech? I mean, sure, he said some good stuff, but, I mean, if you really break it down, he made Canada look pathetic. We can't defend ourselves, we can't feed ourselves. It's right in there. But everybody glosses over that. We can't take care of our own selves. And it was a great speech. All right. Well, I guess I have a lot to learn yet.
With as much experience and honestly, good experience in politics, thinks that this is the path to success for him. Never mind the personal relationships that he's built over decades as a member of the Conservative Party that he's turning his back on, the integrity that he's lacking. If I was a member of the Liberal caucus, I understand partisanship. I understand people being partisan and loyal Conservatives. It's harder to understand that flip-flopping and that journey I just laid out that Matt Jenner has been on since November. That speaks to a lack of maybe credibility or integrity, and we're going to have to see how the next few months go. And I wish him all the best, but it's hard to understand this one.
It feels like he's going to have some tough conversations at the doorstep with his constituents, clearly, about what, for those reasons you laid out. But Larissa, let me just challenge you though. You talk about a united Conservative caucus. Pierre Poilievre stood in the House of Commons yesterday, says that Conservatives have a great team. Yet Jamal Javani, he's had to, in the same breath, had to say, at least at this point, that he speaks for himself and that he has not, made a solo trip to the United States as well. It feels like it's more divisive and not as united as it.
Oh, I want to interject on the whole Jamil Giovanni thing. I wish people would leave the guy alone. He did something good for the country. And what do the liberals do? They call him, what do they call him, Nazi? And then on this liberal show, these guys that are, what are these? I forget what the hell the show was called. I can't think of it. I should have wrote it down. That's why I'm not really prepared, but I just thought of it now. But these guys that are higher up with the liberals, they said he was too ugly to run a party. Are you for real? How dare you say that? I mean, about anybody, especially, like, that's pretty bad. Like, saying that about a cancer survivor, a black man, a man that's trying to do something good for our country. Like, it's just disgusting what the liberals do. Man, I don't get it. But us conservatives, we're the bad guys. I don't know. Somebody got to educate me better.
Necessarily was, whether a couple of months ago, even a couple of weeks ago.
So the truth about being a conservative, and this has always been true, it's been true when Stephen Harper was the leader, when Andrew Scheer was the leader, Aaron O'Toole was the leader, now Pierre Poilievre was the leader. We don't all have to agree on the same thing all the time. There are conservative principles and conservative values that they live by, that we all live by. One of them is investing in our natural resource sector and using our competitive advantage to better the economy across the entire country, and those are the sorts of things that conservatives spoke for.
Amen.
Those are the sorts of things Matt Jenner voted for like 30 seconds ago until now he's a liberal. When there's disagreement on like this Jamal Giovanni thing, you're allowed to disagree in the conservative caucus. It's one of the parts about being conservative. We don't all have to agree on everything all the time.
Hey, Larissa Waller, conservative strategist, former executive director of communications for Premier Doug Ford. Larissa, always appreciate your time. Thank you for this.
Thanks for having me.
Now with me now for more reaction.
I've never seen her before.
Action is Larissa Waller, conservative strategist.
This is where I needed somebody to help me with this shit. Now here's the question of the day. Canadians don't pay to build gas stations. Why are we paying for charging stations? Exactly. Taxpayer Show. You're tax paying for charging stations. So, from what I understand, you're going to spend millions, maybe billions, I'm not sure, to expand the electrical infrastructure, which I guess is a good thing ultimately, but why are we, the taxpayers, paying for it? Why don't the electrical companies pony up for this one? So, like, if we're paying for it, why don't we pay less for electricity? I don't get it. Is it really needed? Are we going to have millions more people driving these EV cars? I don't understand. First there's a mandate, then there's not, then there's a mandate, now there's not. Now we're going to bring in close to 50,000 EV cars from China, which decimates the EV car chain supply in our own country. People, leave it in the comments. Make this shit make sense to me. I don't understand. How does bringing it in help our own auto industry? And why are we giving rebates to people? So I go out and buy an electric vehicle, and I can get up to a $5,000 rebate. Why? I don't want it. I just want my car, and I want to pay less tax on my fuel, and I want us to produce more oil and gas and sell it to the globe and make more money for everybody, so that we don't have millions of people at the food banks, and we don't have how many thousands of people living in tent cities. How many homeless do we have? As It's ridiculous. And it all comes together, in one melting pot. Your tax dollars. And this information was released yesterday. Food inflation chart. Information was released for January 2026. We are now at 7.3%, which has doubled in a year's time, less than a year's time, since Carney took office. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. It was already up under Trudeau, and in a year, it's doubled. Just how many people are struggling? I think most of the country. How many thousands of jobs have been lost? I think the last count was like 80,000 plus jobs in the last just few months. The auto sector's been hit. The lumber, man, it is brutal. It is brutal. And what does the government do? Well, let's print some more money and go deeper into debt and give people another bit of a handout, which really doesn't amount to a whole lot. And to be honest with you, maybe $20, $30 a month-ish. And all that does is just increase the inflation problem even more. So it just keeps going. Instead of cutting taxes and making things more affordable, I don't know, it seems to make sense. I also believe that grocery chains are gouging us completely 100%. I don't know about farmers. I guess they're doing their best, right? Like, they got costs too. They pay extra costs on fertilizer and fuel and everything else, the machinery. I do want to look into more of the dairy farmers and why they seem to have a Gestapo on our dairy sector. I don't know enough about it to speak on it. But it seems like they have control over the government for some reason. I could be wrong about that. I don't know what I'm talking about. But everything is really expensive, and it shouldn't be. And I've seen articles on other podcasts where it shows we're selling our beef to other countries cheaper than what we're buying it here ourselves. How in the hell does that make sense? I don't know. Educate me, people. Help me out. There's comments down below. Use them. Please help me. Anything. Hit like, subscribe. Help me out. Educate me. Make me smarter. Make me as smart as you are. And we're coming to the conclusion of the show. After screwing up royally with audio issues and things and doing this for the third time over, I've decided I'm going to leave out a segment that I've done twice over, and it's just really not a segment that I really want to go over again. It's a little too dark, and for starting off the first episode of a podcast, I don't know. I don't want to go there anymore. So, I'm going to end each show with some dumb jokes. So pretend you're sitting there with me by the fire and we're having a drink. Could be a coffee, could be a beer, could be a wine, spritzer, tea, green tea, anything. And we're just sitting there and I start going off telling you the dumb jokes. Can you hear the water splashing? I spent $500 on a limo and found out that the fee doesn't include a driver. I spent all that money and have nothing to chauffeur it. Get it? Chauffeur it. Thank you. It can't be all doom and gloom, people. We're all starving, but you gotta have fun while you're doing it. Fuck yeah! Next joke. I just saw a car being driven by a sheep. Was it a liberal? No, sorry. Start that over again. I just saw a car being driven by a sheep in a swimsuit. It was a Lamborghini. Actually, you know what that calls for? That calls for a Mr. Roper look in the mirror, not in the mirror, in the camera. Now, okay, that's stupid, right? Those are stupid jokes. But I'm not gonna name his last name. I got a friend. His name is Mark. And when he gets home from work, he watches the show on YouTube, Z Frank. And he's watching something called Carnivorous Dragonflies, and I don't know, he's just on all about this. Random text. The guy just gets done work, he's relaxing, this is what he chooses to do with his time. So, God bless him, but he texts me, a coconut is a species of a human because it grows hair and produces milk. Well, why not? Strange. Oh, what a freaking day. How was your day? My day was a lot of video work and trying to figure out this shit. Now I'm just meandering at the end. You can tune out now. I'm just enjoying the fire and finishing my smoke and having a beer. Yeah, me and my ideas. Hey, the first 5 podcasts I started didn't work. Let's start a new one. Anyways, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I won't charge you a dime yet. Not for a while. And, how do I end this? Yeah, I need a producer and some shit, but... Oh, see? Now there we go. Just somebody to sit there for like a freaking hour, right? What do you pay somebody that? $20? Time's ticking. I'm wasting time. I guess I can edit this out. Are we done? No. I'm not sure if I stopped this and I started it again. I gotta do an official ending. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit that like button and do all that stuff and share and all that shit. And thank you very much.